Okay. Now I'm officially like getting all my, I'm recording and I'm doing this through Zoom because I can record these live streams and more easily move them around in different places, use them for tutorials or trainings, whatever that might be. There's a tiny little delay, and that's okay. If you have comments, please make your comments. I can see who's joining because I'm watching my phone right here and me with the volume down. So I'm not hearing all this weird feedback. There we go. I'm just awing for a moment. I'm just sighing because I was rushing around and I thought I'd be early, and then I ended up visiting with the preschool teacher when dropping my middle child off, and then my baby was taking a while to fall asleep, so I had to drive like 2 exits past my house to fall asleep. And it's all probably because I posted that I might be early, but I'm not. Okay, so without further ado, let's get started. Let me know if you're watching, if you're watching the replay, whether you're watching live, if you have heard of the gene keys, if you have your hologenetic profile. I'm just gonna cover this is my husband's. I couldn't actually find my printed one. I have them all in a binder, my whole family's, but then these are like old printed ones. So this is what your gene key profile looks like. Okay, it's kind of, okay, the gene keys are like, they're like astrology, okay, mixed with your DNA, okay, mixed with the I Ching or the I Ching, the ancient Chinese. It's the way that they kind of go about doing their divination. So this is some ancient stuff mixed in with just all this, and the words that they use, and it's really coming alive even more so for now that Richard Rudd, he's the channeler of the gene keys. He uses a lot of words like the codes. And of course, I'm all about the codes of awe right now, and being able to help people activate these different codes within themselves, okay, and it's the intentions that are within these codes. It's not the codes you're activating. The codes are a tool to activate the intentions that are carried within the code, or that you put into the code while you're doing the meditation and the activation. So there's just so many ways to use this, and then the gene keys coming over here, they're telling you there's 3 different pathways, and so it's telling you 3 different stories. I mean, it's telling you your whole life story. And again, it's a lot like astrology in that it uses your birthday, your birth time, where you were born, where you were on the planet when you were born, and the positions of the sun and some of the planets and the moon and things like that to generate this whole profile for you. Okay, so it can help you tell, like right away. You come in here and let me see. Megan says she has not. Hi, Kristen. I'm glad you're watching. I can't remember to tag people. Facebook will tag you. Facebook will tell you I'm live. I can't remember that stuff. I need an assistant that doesn't want to get paid. I don't even get paid, yo. Like, hardly. I do. I just don't work very much. And that's okay. So first off, let's talk about the 3. Well, let's go back to basics. So the gene keys, there's 64 different spheres. There's 64 different gene keys. You have 11 different spheres on your profile, but sometimes you have repeating keys. That's okay. That's normal. I have a couple repeating keys. So along with this, you can get this and you can contemplate this. You can look at the words. You can see that there's 3 levels of, each key has 3 levels of energy of essence. It's like the Trinity here, the shadow, we have the gift, and then the city. City means like the ultimate expression, like when you reach the point of enlightenment with each of your spheres, and you become enlightened, you can taste that city. Maybe you can sit in the city for a minute. There's city activation codes that I'm working with the codes of awe to help you be more open and receptive to those activations. Kristen just got out of the shower. Good. Deb says she's looked up her hologenetic profile last night. So it's really cool. It's really cool stuff. And guys, I've been looking at this stuff since 2017. and it just takes that long. Is this my profile too? Oh, here it is. It just takes that long to let it start settling in and have it be something that you're like, I can talk to people now. I can talk to people about this. And I'm not like, have you seen the Gene Keys? It's a big book. Get it. Read it. Read. Like, that's how it used to be for me. I didn't get it. I knew it was amazing. And I was like telling people about it. And then I'm like, slow down, slow down. Because people weren't getting it. They were just like, oh yeah, I would love to buy a book that has, how many pages here? 535, 534. I would love to get that and read it right now. Seems like a great way to spend my extra time. So the first thing you do is you start contemplating, like, here's mine. I've got a lot more writing on it because I've gone through mine like with a fine-tooth comb. My husband is like, meh, like he could care less sometimes about this woo-woo stuff. He still thinks it's woo-woo. Even though when we first started dating, he would pull out the little City Weekly newspaper and read our freaking stupid astrology that comes like somebody Googled it and put it in there. I don't know. But I never really aligned with the astrology stuff that you would read out of the paper. And it's probably because I never dug really deep into my charts, and I didn't realize there was more than just your sun sign for so long. And so this is like really digging deep into your DNA. This is the different spheres here. We have the activation sequence. These are the four kind of on the outside edges here. And so this activation sequence, and maybe it's actually easier to see when there's not all the writing all over it. You have these four spheres here. These represent the way that you operate consciously and subconsciously within the world. It's kind of like they're your outward expressions. And then of course one is your internal conflict and what that expression means as far as your world. These spheres are actually called life's work, evolution, radiance, and purpose. Okay, and so you can use, you can go through them. I use the codes of awe to help activate the different spheres within my life so that I'm ready to look at them. And not only that, guys, I'm not going to go too far into the different, lines. There's this one, there's the red one here. This is called the Venus sequence. This is for your relationships. This is for your sort of your emotions, okay? And then the pearl sequence, these blue ones meeting back up with the top one here. This is like your prosperity. Pearl is your prosperity. It's once you do your activation and you work through some of your relationship junk, like who has no relationship junk? You don't exist. Then you get to go to your pearl sequence, which is how you serve the world and your prosperity that you can bring to yourself. And you'll start noticing your prosperity increasing just from working with the four outside spheres, your activation, because it's an activation sequence. And also, you can do the codes of awe activations. And it helps because the more I really started focusing on the codes, like, okay, so when I heard about the codes of awe, I also heard about the Gene Keys, and I also heard about the Akashic Records back at the same time. Same amazing experience. I took a leap. I paid like $555 to do this great, and it like opened the door. So if you guys ever think you're not ready to invest in yourself, like it's opened the three pathways that I know I'm going to come through and use as part of my personal growth and then my service outward, the Akashic Records, the codes of awe, and the Gene Keys. So that's how pivotal one investment in a program, a training, a certification, a clearing, whatever it might be. That's how, I'm facilitating this for people. Now, if somebody facilitated this for me, it's amazing. I'm so excited about that. Anna, I see you did your free profile. Yeah, it just clicks in. And you know what? You can just hang this up and contemplate this alone. Now, you have a couple numbers like this one at the top here. I don't know if you can see it really well. There's two numbers, 46 point something, 46.2. This one happens to be 46.6. Well, both my husband and I have the same two first spheres, which is kind of cool. Haven't figured out that. But other than the fact that we can complement each other as we're working through this first pathway here, this is our challenge. These two spheres, the first two, your life's work and your evolution, you guys. If you're looking at that, those evolution and life's work, they represent, and that pathway between them, that is your challenge pathway. That represents your challenge in the world. Okay, so let's just look at mine for a minute. Mine, seriousness is one of my shadows, and constriction is one of my shadows. like I am so freaking serious sometimes too. I will just take the fun out of every situation. I know you guys don't think so because I think I'm pretty funny on here, but when it comes to my home life and like the chaos that is having young children, like I couldn't be more serious. Okay. Like it's a heart attack sometimes. And I just need to be more playful. I need to take the delight in a situation. So I'm remembering, and there's a lot of other practices. Buddhist mindfulness practice is really helping me, practicing presence, being here in the now. That's been what's been able to break me through to being able to open up to the series. Because at first you look at these shadows and you're like, that's not me. That shit is not mine. That's not me. No. Constricted. I love everybody. I am already universal love. Except for I didn't accept everything in my life. I judged it. I was critical. I rejected it. I complained about it. I still do. Like even last month, I'm complaining about shit on Facebook. I'm constricting. I'm really in that shadow. And whenever I feel myself in the shadows that I knew, and I like put the Gene Keys away, I put them on a shelf because this is a big book, guys. And sometimes it goes on the shelf. And I also have it on Audible, and I've listened to them all and I've read them all. Okay. 2 years of practice. I've read mine multiple times. I'm now going on and focusing through on my families a little bit more. Yeah. So Kristen says yours is intimacy. Is that your life's work, your evolution? Intimacy. I love that. And so what's the shadow of intimacy? I'm all curious. I don't think that's a particular key of mine. Someday I'll know all these. I'll be doing readings for people and I'll be like, oh yeah, the shadow of intimacy is this. It's great. So Lisa, like the Gene Keys, no, you should go check out thegenekeys.com. And it's a combination of astrology mixed with your DNA, mixed with the I Ching, the hexagonal, the ancient Chinese I Ching. Okay. That's a quick answer. And this is a free profile. This book on Amazon is only $18. It's not that bad. And then if you are on Audible though, you could just use one of your credits for this. And honestly, like you want the book eventually, but on the first read through, you could just listen to it, because listening to it while you're walking, or for me, while I'm driving endlessly back and forth, picking up one of my 3 kids or taking or grocery shopping or something, I listen to a lot of books. I used to think I didn't get a chance to read. Well, it's because I had not discovered Audible until I gave birth to the 3rd child and sat in the hospital for 5 days. And I was like freaking bored of watching Friends on the TV. And I really like Friends. Okay. So when that happens, Kristen says, maybe I'm reading it wrong. I read it wrong for the first like 100 times. I knew what I was doing. I want to practice talking about the Gene Keys. So that's why I'm recording it. That's why I'm doing this on Zoom. Yeah, Krista, play with it. One thing that really helps, this is like, I didn't even get this for a whole year after I had looked at this, contemplated this, read my keys, you know what I mean? Then I went ahead and started investing in the golden pathway process. Like the whole thing is called your golden path, moving through your activation sequence, then moving up into your Venus sequence, your relationships, your relational, your childhood wounding. This is inner child work right here. Like the vocation sphere, just to skip ahead, the vocation sphere, find it, it's blue. Some people's charts have it half be red, half blue. Like mine's an old chart, and then I have new charts printed. I've got charts everywhere. The vocation sphere, the shadow of that, okay, mine is hunger. That is the essence of what your mother was feeling when she was pregnant with you. We're skipping ahead here, but I'm just telling you some of the crazy shit I know about this. And it was pointed out to me again recently by a beautiful gal named Crystal. She might be watching. We did a soul realignment session in some of our chit chat. We were talking about that. So it's your vocation, but just the hunger. Okay. Well, was my mom actually physically hungry when she was pregnant with me? Maybe, but I've done a little bit of working and talking to my mom and finding out what was going on in her life, because I realized there's a lot going on in your life when you decide to bring a child into the world, not to mention the child that's coming into the world. And that in that period of my mom's life, I'm going to get a sip of water here. So in that period of my mom's life, it was right around then, or right around there was something going on, and there was soon to be, or maybe already had been, the discovery of my dad being bipolar. And then that discovery, after the process of dealing with some of those emotional swings, okay, and maybe it was actually leading up. I think I was already born during this time when that discovery happened. So it's that period beforehand when there's an obvious emotional, energetic something or other going on, and that person is dedicated to that. My dad was dedicated to that dis-ease in ways that he couldn't even control. And so my mom felt very hungry for love, connection, whatever. Who knows? Maybe that's why they were like, well, we got married. Now it's time to have a baby. Feeling pretty hungry, need something. I'm going to have a baby. Not saying that's exactly what went through their minds. I mean, but this is what I'm dealing with. Okay. So this shadow I was like marinating in this hunger. Okay. And then it shows up in your gene keys. And then working through here, these ones kind of going backwards, you start to go through your emotional childhood wounding from the three different phases of childhood, like age 0 to 7, age 8 to 14, and age 15 to 21, right around there. Let's see what Kristen says. Her vocation sphere, half-heartedness is the shadow of that. So just ponder that for a minute, okay? And then from a place of not like judging outward, say, oh, mom. And if your mom's still here, maybe talk to your mom and be like, what were you feeling? Like, and not in like that kind of tone of voice, but maybe like, talk to me. Like, what was going on while you were pregnant? I want to know. Like, let's talk about this. You don't have to be like, because I see there's some half-hearted. I was marinating in a belly of half-heartedness. Like, there's ways to go about this discovery. Maybe it's through the process of stories you've already heard and knowledge you already have, and now you can look at it through this new lens of understanding. Guys, I've not only done the Gene Keys book, the Gene Keys Golden Path, but I've also done 2 Gene Keys programs. So like, this is what I'm like kind of obsessed about, the Gene Keys as well. I just kind of kept it on the down low for a while. And it needed to come out because the codes of all go along so beautifully. They're beautiful together. Deb says her vocation sphere is oppression, is the, and I know I'm not talking about the pretty ones, like your gifts, and those are like, but it's because the first thing is to draw your attention to the shadow. Okay. And there's 3 levels. So there's allow, accept, embrace. Okay. And once you begin to move through those levels, then you move up, then the gift shows up. Okay. So once, for example, let's look at Deb and her oppression. When she gets to that sphere, she really looks at the things in her life that have made her feel oppressed, that keep her in this sense of oppression. Once she allows those things to be exactly what they need to be, and that is a place to work out of some of this wounding that we received, you guys. It's like the womb wounded. We've been wounded into our womb. We didn't even have to be born and annoy our parents for them to start wounding us. Like, I just thought it was when your kids started acting like annoying as shit that you were like, I'm yelling at them all the time, and I'm also swearing sometimes, and I'm totally messing my child up. You don't even have to have the child. Okay, it's in your DNA. It's already there. And that's another reason why it helps you understand from an Akashic Records, from a past life standpoint, that you pick the situation that you're going into as a way to fully move into the expression of your gifts. You allow it to be, you accept it, you wrap your arms around it. That's why I really like that my evolution key, the gift, is acceptance, because it really works with those 3 levels of the gene key. And also my line, which is going to confuse you as a teacher. I'm supposed to be a teacher, you guys. I figured it out. The gene keys can help you figure it out too. And so I can teach people about this acceptance, about allow yourself to be in the seriousness, allow yourself to be in the constriction. We're talking about me and my first, now I'm going back to the life's work right here and the evolution, because we were kind of in here, and then I like want to go back out here because that's my mind. Kristen says she's not here. Yeah, it's hard but you know, then you can talk to them energetically as you meditate this, as you unlock this in your DNA. You're and it's a consciousness thing, Kristen. So even though you can't have that conversation and get that clarity, just you looking at that and accepting and saying, I will allow this. I will allow this. I won't fight this one. I will allow it. And when you read back through, so I have, this is the activation sequence book. And then there's another book for the Venus sequence. That's the red dots, the pink dots, or whatever. And then there's another book for the pearl sequence. So I got them all, rereading them right now. So your challenge pathway, I'm not even really going to get into the next pathway, which is, you know, your radiance and your purpose, because I'm still like learning how to teach it. And I don't want it to be too insane. I want people to look at these things and start small. Because when you try to understand this whole thing, you guys, it's like, put that down, because I didn't get that the first time. And then you go like 6 to 8 months like I did, not doing any of the gene keys. I didn't realize they were doing their thing. And I was working with the codes of awe, and I was starting to, you know, I was really working in the Akashic records, and I was just forming the foundations so that I could really absorb this stuff. I didn't even know that I was coming full circle, this ancient Chinese I Ching and the Tao Te Ching, which I've been introduced to. And sometimes I post like the parents' Tao Te Ching, and I put a cute little picture of my kids, and I it's okay. So it's all these Chinese things. Okay, the Buddhist school that my son goes to, they're learning Chinese. It's all coming together, you guys, and it's kind of like if I talk about it enough, it freaks me out. But that's why I try not to like be in that place where I'm like, where you kind of like, am I living my life, or am I just showing up and all these kind of amazing things are happening? And I started to get really like ungrateful about all this. And I fixed it. Just in a couple of weeks of this gratitude practice. It's light. It said, oh, you have time to go live while your baby's sleeping. Your baby wakes up, stop going live. That's life. Do your thing. You don't have to go to the gym and run. Who are you running from? Where are you running to? You can run another day. Like, we should all be healthy and worry about our hearts and like what we want our physical bodies to do for us. But we don't really like, where was I running to? Who am I running from? I'm running from the live streams. I'm running from showing up. And then when I did that for a long period of time, it led me full circle, spiraling into this dark night of the soul, where my soul is like, well, stop not showing up and show up. So I want to catch up on some of these. Crystal saying her mom's not here, but you know, she struggled. And now if your mom's not here, this can even like, if you have any feelings of regret, remorse, upset, anger, dissatisfaction with your relationship with your mother and things like that, you can, I mean, potentially you could pull up her gene keys, even though they're passed on. You need to know like time of birth, date, location, you know, that kind of stuff. You can do a little bit of learning about that, and you can heal this relationship, and you can heal it for the souls that are passed on. You can heal it. So you could look at that, or you could just look at your own spheres and know the certain aspects that came from your parents that were amplified by them. That's the Venus sequence. It really gets into that inner child work. You can recognize your parents through your own healing. They can get healed that way. I got a code that heals 12 generations back, guys. I mean, like, let's do that. I think, you know, I activated that for Crystal actually the other day. So like, these are all things you can do. This is why you want to contact me for a private session, because we can really start moving forward on this. So once I want to go through this allow, accept, embrace, and just see if there's a lot of people here. I want to see, I think my friend Anna is watching. She says she has the book, but hasn't been able to understand it all. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's just, you just take a little bite of it at a time. And then you learn by osmosis, apparently, or things lead you around to it again. And it comes back, it comes into you. So let's go back to this, like, allow, accept, embrace. There's all sorts of trinities involved in the gene keys. There's your shadow, your gift, and your city. There's this allow, accept, embrace. Gosh, this whole thing is made up of like different shapes of triangles and things like that. If you look at the geometric shape of the code that is your hologenetic profile, you guys, that's a code too. It's not a code of awe, and they're working on a collaboration, I've heard, of on Delafleur maybe working on a collaboration with the Gene Keys. And I know I'm going to get my own personal code of awe created using my Gene Keys profile. I know I'm going to get that done. I just have to activate that request. So you have these allow, accept, embrace. And this is the key with everything in your life. If you don't allow something to be as it is, if you fight what is, that's where all of our stress starts occurring. Okay. When we fight what is, every time you don't like what's going on in your life, you're the problem with it. Okay? Like, this is so hard for me to like work through. It's a little bit of Byron Katie here, which is actually a little bit Buddhist. Like, I mean, it all comes from somewhere. And so it's a little bit Gene Keys. And the Gene Keys, guys, is not just Buddhist. They talk about the Bible, Christ, Jesus. They talk about all the different sort of holy trinities, you know, the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. They talk about all different types of understandings, even Hindu. It's all connected because it's all coming from the same place at some point. So you have to allow something to be what it is. You have to allow the moment to bring you what you're going to have. And once you start allowing, once you say, okay, this is what's happening here in this moment. I'm not going to fight it. I'm going to take away, I'm going to separate myself from the fear, the anxiety of what's happening. And I'm just going to take some deep breaths and I'm just going to like meditate or be here in the moment. And then you start to work through. So that's when I would come out of this constriction place with my own evolution spear. I'm no longer constricting and like pushing things away or keeping myself super protected. I'm allowing something to be. I'm just allowing. I still have a hard time with this. Kids, I know that's the reason I had like that third kid. Not that like the first two weren't doing it, but they maybe weren't. Maybe I was like still finding the rug and sweeping. Opening the closet door and putting it all in. Like maybe I was still doing that. Okay. And then they were like, well, let's go get you another baby so you can really allow yourself to be in this moment. Be in this place. Okay. It's not like I didn't want to be a mom, but it's as soon as I became a child, sorry, that probably did need to come out. As soon as I had a child, I found these connections, or shortly thereafter, of what I wanted to do. And so now there's like this sort of weird competition in my mind about being able to do both. And that right there is something that I just need to allow. I just need to allow it to be what it is. And I need to do what's in front of me. Okay. And if that's my household needing to be taken care of or my family needing attention, I do what's in front of me. Because I'm blessed to have a husband who does what's in front of him, and that pretty much pays the bills. We're sometimes stressed, like super stressed, but I'm going to allow that. Oh, wait, stress is also one of my shadows on my next sphere, radiance over here. So you can look at these things and you go, okay, stress. Whew. So I have to move from stress to restraint to stillness. And these two shadows, your radiance and your purpose, so these are your core stability pathway, but this, I'm looking at my notes, these are like your subconscious, this is your inner expression, whereas your life's work and your evolution, that's your conscious, your outer expression, okay? So my inner expression, I very much live in a state of stress, a lot. I probably have had a high blood pressure multiple times in my life, and maybe even do right now, because of the kind of stress I like to live in. Whew, it would be nice for me to stop fighting that, so that I can actually move into the restraint. That's my gift. It doesn't sound like a very fancy gift, you guys. But when you come from the shadow of stress, I don't really need fancy. I just need to get out of it, okay? And then once I can operate in that restraint, once I can restrain from fighting the situation that I currently find myself in, once I can restrain myself from not allowing it and allow it, that's that first one, remember? And then I can accept it. And then I can embrace it. And then I move from restraint to stillness. Then stress can happen all around me. And I can literally be like zenning out. Wouldn't you guys like to see me that day walking around Costco instead of the angry mom? My friend Holly might not be on this live stream right now, but she knows. She's caught me at the Costco where I've been like, about ready to jump off the roof. So I was operating in a place of stress. And also my other shadow of this down here. Dissatisfaction. Like, I'm sometimes can be so dissatisfied with my life, and I'm driving past homeless people to drive my kid to school because our town is really small and homeless people sort of like live on State Street, and I take State Street, and I send them love light now. Like, but this is what I was like, I am so dissatisfied with this life I live where I have most of the time I have electricity, not because I didn't pay the bill, guys. It's because California keeps shutting it off. You know, I'm mostly always have the food I want to eat. Like sometimes I'm eating quesadillas with cheese and that's it because I haven't gone to the grocery store, but it's not because I'm not capable of doing the grocery shopping. It's just that I haven't done it. So, you know, I'm really okay. So this weird dissatisfaction in my life, I need to first of all allow that, and then I need to accept it so I can move into the true vitality and I can really go into my purpose. Okay, there's so much to go into. How long have I even been live? Something like 30 minutes, you guys. What questions do you have? Katie, hi, how are you? Margaret, hello. Okay, Kristen's got a great question. She's asking if just learning about the gene keys is okay, or do we need to go into human design? So I forgot to mention the human design. And she says, or astrology, etc. No, the answer is no. You can learn one. You can learn them all. You can learn none if you want. It's all up to you. Okay, so the human design, I am not a student of the human design. I just heard about them after I heard about the gene keys, and I was like, let's see if I want to learn this. And then I was like, no. Like the gene keys really called out to me, and I think it has to do with the Chinese, the ancient, this is part of the mystery schools that I'm here to embrace as a white girl from Utah. Like, is Chinese culture, go figure. You know, so the human design, Richard Rudd, who created the gene, he was channeled the gene keys. He was a student of the human design and a teacher of the human design for many, many years. And then he also studied the Eastern philosophies of the I Ching and the Tao and Buddhism and all sorts of different philosophies and mystery schools. And so from that, there was this birth of the gene keys. And so he left the being a teacher of the human design. And he went into his, I pictured the Hermit tarot card where he's like, all right, time for me to go up the mountain and channel this information and bring you these gigantic books. And he's got so many resources. You can take the Golden Path program on the gene keys. That's an amazing program, you guys. And the books, and it walks you through it. And then I bought an additional coaching program from my mentor that introduced me to the gene keys, which is helping immensely to go through those replays for me. Just helps you integrate it. I did the replays first when I was pregnant with, or I did the class when I was pregnant with Quest, the little baby who's 15 months old. When I was first pregnant with him, I was nauseous. You guys, when you are pregnant with morning sickness, it is not the best time to do shadow work. Okay, like you get diagnosed with a disease and you're going through some therapies and you're like really sick, it's probably not the best time. Maybe it is for you, but good Lord, when you feel like vomiting and barfing and you're sick and it's just not with you, it's not. So I showed up for all the classes and I was stressed out. Why isn't this clicking? And I paid so much money for it, and I'm pregnant, I'm having a baby. And then I just had to let it sit, and I had to allow it. And I had to accept it. I accepted. I spent that money, a lot of money for that. Okay. And then I even embraced it. And now by embracing it, it's going back in and participating again. I have really dove into it about 30 days ago when I felt my depression sinking in. I was like, okay, let's do some of my favorite things. Let's do some gene keys. So I think understanding astrology and understanding the concept of how you can get your astrological chart based on the positions of the planets when you came into this world, that helps you grasp some understanding of how this profile is created. Okay. Now that helps you understand why they take your information and they give you some specific keys. Now the 64 gene keys, this is kind of a picture of the I Ching, this ancient Chinese thing. I probably should learn a little bit more about the I Ching. Will do. Noted. So this is all the 64 keys correspond to a certain element of the I Ching. So I'm just going to open one up here. So the 38th key, it tells you a lot of stuff. Like you learn the physicology of a gene key. This is the 38th gene key. It happens to be this shadow of struggle, the gift of perseverance, and the city of honor. And it tells you the amino acid of arginine, the physiology, the adrenals, this codon ring, the ring of humanity. I think that has something to do with I Ching. Like, see, there's still stuff that I don't get. Like, I don't get it. And I will come around to it. I will come around to it. It shows you, each gene key shows you the picture of how it would look on the ancient I Ching. Okay, so each one, see that design is slightly different than that design. Like, see, so see what I mean here? Like, it's just a cool book to have. You can open up any place in this book, and this is an oracle book. Oracle deck, open it up. And I apparently need to read the repressive nature of the 35th gene key. The repressive nature of the shadow of hunger. Oh, that's one of mine. The repressive nature is boredom. You know, I need to read about that. So you could, like, whatever that might be for you. Probably tells me I talked a little bit about my that one. I probably should enter into it and explore it again, that vocation sphere of mine. That's a mandala. Crystal thinks, like, she's like, that's a mandala. Yeah, like, I'm just talking a lot. So, and mandalas are codes. Just looking at these mandalas, they activate things within you. So yeah. Crystal says she likes using human design and the gene keys, and she learned human design first. So my friend Crystal here, who's an amazing light worker, and I just did a soul realignment session with her, and it was epic. It was off the charts. I like all my soul realignment sessions equally, guys, but there's like, they just stick with me. I'm still resonating on high levels with that one. And then I did another one a few days later for an amazing lady who attuned me to Sikkim Reiki. So if you want to learn more about human design and like the way that they blend together, or if you're a student of human design, if you've heard about the human design and you're like, okay, but why are the gene keys so confusing? Crystal could probably answer some questions for you. So reach out to her. Okay, because she's in my little network of we support each other. We support each other. We support our learning. We support our growth. I'm gonna drink some water. It's so good to connect this way. I'm gonna start doing more live streams like this. I'm going to have some events coming up, though, that's going to keep me focused on the events and not doing as many live streams during those event times. And one of them is this code, the 12 codes of Christmas. And you don't have to be Christian or believe in Christmas or celebrate Christmas to take part in this. In fact, I have one of the codes, it like falls right where Hanukkah starts. And so like there's codes to enhance every cosmology, every religion, everything. Anybody can participate in this. It's just a cool name. Okay, 12 codes of Christmas. And I think we're actually going to activate 8 codes during that session. We need integration days, especially as we're going through here. So that's a totally free event. I'm going to zoom onto my Facebook page like this. And so you could just show up. Just show up. I'll eventually put it on YouTube, and I'll probably put it together as like a little package that you can buy on Audible for like $11 to support me, because I need support. I'm a light worker here that needs a little bit of energy exchange for all of this. So I'm working smarter now. I'm recording everything. I'm putting it places where people can go to it. They can click on it. It's super accessible if you love courses and stuff like that. If you like taking classes, kind of DIY, don't like the whole Facebook group thing, I get it. So that's starting on the 12th of December. There's a special 12/12 code. There's a special code of awe that's for 12/12. And then there's also a special code of awe that's for 12/23. It can be used any day of the year, but the amount of days between those just happens to be 12. So it was really epic the way this numerology is a big deal in these codes and these gene keys. So it was really cool the way that worked out. So that's going on in December. Random times of the day, I don't know. I might be able to plan them like the day before because I'm a mom. Catch the replay, watch it live, watch it in order, watch it out of order. I don't care. Have fun with it. This is just my service and my gift outward. And if any of you want my PayPal to send me some energy exchange, it's Healing Holly Holfelds is my PayPal, or theakashicqueen@gmail.com. So Healing Holly Holfelds, you got to put that after the PayPal link. I'll go ahead and add that later. But what I'm telling you is I want to serve as many people as possible. And it just kind of gets you vibrating with the codes of awe, because in January in my group, in my private group, I'm going to be hosting an 11-week event, and we'll be activating over 30 codes during that 11-week event. And again, these are short, quick live streams, because that's the way my life is. I cannot plan 2 hours for like a whole, I can't do it. I don't even have the childcare to commit to that. Like, so we're talking like 15 to 30 minutes a day. Keeps the doctor away. So Kristen ordered the book. Yay. Yes, yes, yes. So, and Kristen's saying she knows the human design as well. And if you, or that's Crystal. Yes, of course. Yes, she's a generator. I think I'm a generator as well. I think I'm a generator. I'll have to watch. I'll have to look. I like looked it up. It's saved on my computer, like the human design thing. And you know, there's these. I think that, so Crystal can confirm, but I think it is these ones right here, the 4 on the outside, they really resonate with some of the information that the human design gives you. So when you move from one to the other, right away the activation sequence just syncs you up with other things. I mean, right away it's asking you for all the information that your astrologist would need, okay, to get your natal chart done. And so it's connecting you up with a more common way of finding out about ourselves. So this is just another way of doing it, and it's beautiful. I just vibrate so lovely with it. So the 11-week event, I want to let you guys know, happening in the Akashic Alchemy Academy group, is going to be starting on 1/20/20. Because next year's 2020, and it goes for 11 weeks. And there's special segments for finances, codes to help you with your finances, to help you with love, to help you with your family, marriage, so couples or with children, codes that you can use with your children. You can just show them to them and have them look at them. Okay. And that's about it. Like that's the meditating codes. These codes just work from you looking at them. You don't even have to working with a codologist, I'm a codologist. We work you through a certain process to really maximize the activation and the potency, okay? Because I don't want to just give you a Band-Aid or a Tylenol. I really want to activate the true healing coming from within you, okay? So, sometimes kids feel better when they get a Band-Aid. They don't even have a scratch. They need a Band-Aid and they feel great. This is my oldest child. My middle child does not like Band-Aids. You put a Band-Aid on him when he needs one, like he's bleeding all over and he's playing in the dirt, and he rips it off and he cries and he doesn't want to. Band-Aids don't help the middle one. They do help the older one. So for some kids, they will love to look at these codes and they will be drawn to them. And you can, I printed all of mine out on photos, and so they can look through them, and I'm going to put them in like frames and put them in my office. Like, it's going to be great. And this is just so my kids can view them every single day, and they can work with them in their DNA. And of course, it's the ones that are safe for children. Okay, this is one reason that I wanted to do this 11-week training, so that you can specifically start to understand which of these codes, once they're active in you, you might as well take them and use them. So this is a really, really amazing training that's happening. And my private group is $111 to join right now. There's going to be, I think, one other time, probably sneak peek, not even around the after Thanksgiving rush. People spend too much money. They don't spend money on this stuff after Thanksgiving. So it's going to be on 12/12. I think I'm going to throw it back on sale for one day, 12/12, right at the beginning of the event. So you can't even, yeah. So anyhow, I think that's all. Let me know what questions you guys have if you're watching this. Just post them right here so everybody can see, and I can like type some replies. We'll do another training as I dive a little bit more deeper with my teacher hat on. See, I had taken this approach with the Gene Keys for the last couple of years as a student, as a straight up student. And then last month, when I circled back around to really diving into them again, I was like, no. I need to teach it. And it was activated in me when Yvonne Delafleur, who's the ultimate codologist, she's the creator of the Codes of Awe. We went through in my codologist training, and we activated this. There's 4 city codes of awe. And those, like, it was like, boom, you need to teach this. And I was like, I will teach. I am a teacher here. This is my line 6 right here, guys, right there. It says teacher. You probably can't see it. Teacher. It might be backwards. I don't know. I'm a 6'2". Yes, I'm a 6'2", Crystal. So I mean, these lines mean things. You'll need this book to start the activation sequence, the Golden Path book of the activation sequence. You'll need those to really start, in my opinion, fully understanding the lines. You have 64 gene keys. They're all listed in this book. There's 6 different lines, okay? There's a couple ways to think of this imagery. It's like a musical chord. You can play a melody on different chord places on the piano. I'm not a musician. And it sounds a little different, okay? Or filters on a picture. You can put different filters on the same picture and it looks a little different. It's going to have a different way of expressing itself. The music is going to sound different. The picture is going to look different. And so that's what the lines are all about, okay? So if you're getting confused at what that when Crystal's asked me, she's like, 2 is hermit. 2 is like the dancer, I thought. What's hermit? Although the hermit card of my soul card and my profile card from tarot is all based on numerology, which is a 9. That's a hermit. So I resonate with the hermit because you can't be a guide. A hermit is like, and we're going to get into some symbolism. A hermit's like the ultimate guide. They know how to step away to undergo their own transformation and their education, and then they come out like this wise Gandalf the Great, you know, like he's like the ultimate hermit, yo. Yes, dancer too. Crystal knows, I think Crystal's even more advanced on the gene keys than I am. I'm just starting to use them, and I really want to start inspiring people on how to use them. What's the point of all this is how to use them with a family. So I showed you this chart here that I made. Guys, this is the picture that I posted the other day. And this is just my family's activation sequence so that I can go through and I can really start seeing what are my kids' challenge? What are my kids' greatest challenges going to be? Isn't this kind of cool to think about knowing? What are their greatest outward expressions of the world? And what's that challenge? What are their subconscious? What are their inner expressions? What is going to drive them from the inside? And they're going to want to start expressing that outwardly, okay? And so that's why when you can combine this and when you can meld them together, you have this breakthrough. But how can you best support your children if you don't know any of this? I don't know. I even did my kids' astrology charts, but since I'm not really an astrologer and I just never really went that direction, it didn't really, I mean, they're there. They're in this cool binder. I've got like a lot of my kids' family stuff in here. But the gene keys really does resonate with me. So that's how I know I can support my family, and hopefully I can inspire other people to pull up their kids' profiles. And if you have grown kids and grandkids, pull up their profiles. Boy, as a grandma, and you're able to support your children and helping them understand their children a little bit more, and even you being able to understand your grandchildren, and in a different way, you heal some of the vibratory interference that occurred when you wounded your children. We all have childhood wounding, and some of us are mothers and children, and so somebody gets the wounding and then we give the wounding. Like, it's just like, it's what happens. So this is all to support that. It's a healing balm. I think I'm done. I think this is complete for the day. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I'm going to go and take this little extra time to have a tea ceremony with myself and do some meditation, do some contemplation. I didn't even talk about what contemplation means as far as the gene keys. Contemplation means just putting this up on your bathroom mirror or somewhere and looking at it and contemplating one key a day. Maybe reading one of these a week in the Gene Keys book. Don't go fast. What I did, I just like went through trying to read my whole profile at once, and I was like, I was like, it's way too much. I just was like, whoa, I can't do this. I can't. So it's slowing it down, taking off little pieces. So it's really, really good to connect with you guys. I love you so much. I'm sending you so much love, light, and so much inspiration and so many codes. Join me for the 12 codes of Christmas starting on 12/12. Already planned out. Contact me if you're interested in joining my Akashic group. If you want to join right now, go ahead. It's $111. I'll take it. If you're serious about joining, reach out to me and say, next time you put it on sale, I seriously want to join your group. But do me a favor, and like, if I reach out to you and I say it's on sale for $55, don't tell me you can't afford it, because it like bums me out and it's like kind of a waste of my time. Like, if the 55 isn't going to work for you, then it's not the time for you to participate in these code of activations. But it's a very, very reasonable rate to go ahead and get in the group. You also get all of the benefits of Akashic Alchemy Academy, which is how to access your Akashic records, working through some of the karmic issues of grace and understanding karma, so that you can let that karma go. You can really accept grace into your life. We also have a dream mastery course. I help you dive into some of your soul contracts with your family, soulmates. There's a lot in that group. And I keep adding some things. So, and it's only one time to join, fee. So, love you. We'll talk soon. Bye.